Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the new 1.5 Lightcone for Huohuo. It's Huohuo's signature Lightcone, Knight of Fright, and in my personal opinion, I think this Lightcone itself is much more attractive than even the character Huohuo. And I'll tell you why. Not because Huohuo is lousy by any means, I think she's a fantastic character, but the difference between this Lightcone and the other Lightcones that we have in terms of versatility, ability, is so much stronger. It's absolutely broken, and let's just get into it. Energy restoration rate 12%. Any healer over here, the 5 of them here, Huohuo, Natasha, Luota, Lynx, as well as Bailu, every single one of them can use this ability. And when any of your characters, like in your other roster, maybe you have, I don't know, one other unit here using their ultimate ability, they immediately restores HP equal to 10% of their max HP. So when any character uses their ultimate ability, they get 10% healing the lowest target back, which is amazing because any of your characters now become like pseudo a healer, especially if one of these units is on the field. This is super good because in future, if we have any super offensive abundance characters that maybe lack a little bit on healing, you slap this on and you will cover the aspect and they become even more defensive, utilizing like characters that ultimate ability you still get some sort of healing. This is very, very interesting because you don't have to wait for the healer's turn to get healing. Any other character at any point of time, if you drop below a certain threshold, you think you're going to get one-shotted because you have too low HP, you just press a burst on any of your characters and they instantly get healed. I think that is super, super good. If you think about it, this is a very high skill cap kind of Lightcone, and I think it's super strong just because of the way it functions as well. It's super versatile. Anyone uses these two abilities that we see so far, but that is not all. Not only that, they also have this provides healing for an ally. Whenever the wearer, him or herself, use healers an ally, you basically give them an attack buff of 2.4% that stacks up to 5 times and lasts for 2 turns, benefiting really a lot more characters that have a bit more AoE heal or maybe some sort of rejuvenation like heal, like what we see from the abundance characters like Bailu, Natasha from some extent, with the outgoing healing bonus that continues, the continuous healing aspect of it. That is a very nice 12% attack buff on top of the healing that you get and the energy restoration that you get. I think this is probably, in my opinion, like the best in class Lightcone for abundance because it's just so versatile, and I see it as can be used for any future characters, offensive healer or defensive healer. It's very, very complex in a sense and simple to use at the same time because anyone can use it, but complex because it allows any of your other teammates to also be a heal procer. I think it's just tremendous amounts of value. One of the better Lightcones I've seen so far in the game. I would want to pick this one up. If you guys know, I skipped Luota's Lightcone, I skipped Fushen's Lightcone, and other sustained characters or other supportive characters like even Silverwolf's Lightcone. I also didn't really pull for it. But this one, I'm definitely planning to get. Normally, I only pull for DPS Lightcones, but I think this is probably the first one I might be interested in. Her signature Lightcone, especially if I get her early so I don't have to break the bank. So a super versatile Lightcone on its own, it can really be used for any other healer that we have in the game as well. If you have maybe not enough Lightcones, you just weren't lucky, you slap this on any 5 of them, they will find tons of value. It might not be best in slot in terms of synergizing with their overall kit, but its flexibility and versatility makes it really, really top tier, like SS tier in terms of versatility and usability. In the future, moving forward, tons of value as well. I think it's very, very good for that aspect. But more so, I think not all of us has tons of resources to pull this signature Lightcone and Huohuo, so I want to also accommodate to as many people as I can. Let's talk about some Lightcones that Huohuo can use currently in game, if you guys are interested to find out alternatives as well. So now let's go into the game engine and talk about the other Lightcones that I think Huohuo might find good value in. Okay, and I'll give you like a TLDR for this section. If you are a free-to-play player, maybe you don't have all these like other Lightcones, you only have very few choices. The really good thing is you can use any of them. I think they're all pretty good. Even the 3-star ones are decent, especially if you're a super new player, maybe you don't have that many Lightcones yet. They still can work very well, and that's the beautiful thing about abundance characters, super flexible. If you were to ask me like to give you like a TLDR of like the best one, I think Quid Pro Quo likely is going to be her best 4-star Lightcone for the versatility that it offers. If you think about her overall kit, you have 3 characters that you are buffing in terms of the attack percentage, energy in the team, which means that you don't care who exactly gets the energy, which it works very nicely for this one, because for Quid Pro Quo, one of the downsides that you have, the pronunciation is so bad for me, I hope you guys don't mind, but the downside of this is that you randomly choose an ally. Sometimes you give energy to maybe not your main DPS in that case, not really very effective, but in this case, since her ultimate is buffing 3 other characters, means that your team compositions generally have everyone else wanting to use their burst some way or another, especially if you are a DOT character. Anyone getting the ultimate is really very good too, and 8 energy is a pretty sizable amount. What's the better thing about this is also when you start a turn, which means that it doesn't care whether you are trying to like generate skill points by auto attacking, or whether you are using your skill, because she might not want to always use her skill, so she can be a bit more like net positive in skill points. You get a lot of energy regeneration for the whole team as well. So Quid Pro Quo definitely probably will be my favorite based on like the thematic on how her team compositions are going to be, but Shared Feeling, very similarly, if any of you are thinking about this, is also pretty decent. The only real downside of this is it requires her to keep using her skill. Sometimes you don't really need that overheal, and in the end you don't get this like energy regeneration. But that's like the downsides. The pros to this is you actually get energy for your whole party, including herself as well, which is also in line with whatever she's trying to do, like healing the entire team or buffing the entire team's energy with her ultimate ability. But for that factor that it becomes more so that it incentivizes her to use her skill and become more skill point negative, I think it's a bit tricky, especially if your team is already like at full HP, then it's not going to be super effective. But definitely still very, very good, because at least you get this 10% healing bonus without a doubt. So these two, that's how they compare with each other. The other 3 are a bit more situational, and let me talk about it. Perfect Timing is a stat balancer. If you don't have enough effect rest in maybe your gear, somehow you only have a lot of max HP, you have very nice max HP percentage bonus, but you want a little bit more effect rest on your sustain character that is cleansing your whole entire team, this is going to be a great balancer, because you get 16% straight up at Super Imposition 1 effect rest. Your outgoing healing also scales with your effect rest, which is very, very nice. It helps boost up your healing even more. Definitely very good if you are looking to gain up a bit of effect rest so she doesn't get CC'd as much. I think it's also a very good thing for a stat balancing Lightcone as well. Definitely pretty strong. Post-op Conversation, most of us might start with this or have this on our accounts. This is also pretty solid because it increases the energy restoration rate of the character herself. You know that her ultimate ability doesn't restore her own energy, so it's very nice to have that uptime on herself as much as you can. That's why this 8% is very nice. Not as good as her signature Lightcone, which is like 12%, but still when you use the ultimate ability, she gets a bit of outgoing healing bonus, which she can definitely very appreciate too. Might not be as thematically good as Quid Pro Quo, but as you can see, all 4 of them do have a place in your roster. Somehow you can fit them in, so very, very good. As long as you got 1 purple, probably will be pretty decent as well. The one that I think is probably the least useful is Worm's Shortened Cold Nights. And really the good thing about this is definitely its amount of stats it has. If you can see here, it's like 1058, and for any HP scaling character, let's just put this up, you can see that it's like 100 higher than like Quid Pro Quo. It's like a pseudo 5-star in terms of the stats, because it's just so much more. Of course, it's a paid battle pass Lightcone, and it's really a stat stick in the sense of here. But if you look at the Super Imposition 1 stats here, it's not really super amazing. You get HP bonus, which is nice for her because she scales off with HP, getting 16% off already a higher base. But the next part is not very, very effective. She already does a lot of healing, so using a basic attack or skill and restoring 2% of their respective max HP, so it doesn't scale with Huohuo's max HP. If let's say your Zealer has 4k HP, that's, I don't know, like 80 HP heal is very, very minimal across the board, and I think she already does a lot of healing on its own. So this second part, not very useful. It's just a huge, massive stat stick. Perhaps you have a lot of effect rest in your kit, but you can't find maybe any HP gear, and so on and so forth. Out of all of them, I think this is the most restrictive for the most part, especially since likely she won't be very, very squishy to begin with, since she already scales off with HP. You'll be building her with a lot of HP stats. You could argue that she could cap off even higher HP because of the base stats, but I think it's a bit unnecessary. She probably won't be nearing the death soon. Before we go into Time Wait for No One, which I think a lot of people are interested in because you can pick this up in the standard shop, let's talk about these 3 very, very quickly. The one that I think I like the most would be Multiplication out of all 3, and I can see a way that people want to use this. Basic attacking, advanced action forward by 12%, especially at max superimposition, you get 20% action advance. If you don't really care about the stats and you don't have any other gear, I can see this working, making her even more net positive in skill points, or pushing her at least past the 0 boundary. Because basic attack, you get 1 skill point, you push her faster, means that you can basic attack again, which, if you think about it, every 5 times she basic attack, she goes 1 turn for free, if you think about it in that aspect. So I think it's very, very nice. Not a useless Lightcone by any means. Sometimes you could use it, especially if you don't have anything better, or maybe you're using one else for your other sustained character in your other comp as well. Other than that, Fine Fruit, I don't really like it too much, since it's at the start of the battle, doesn't last too long. Cornucopia, this is decent to have, but there are many other better Lightcones. You might as well use multiplication, since it's a 3-star, you most likely have all 3 of them as well. And last but not least, let's talk about the one that most of you might be excited. You can pick this up in the shop as well by exchanging some of your glitter for this after making that pools and stuff. It's a lot of saving, but I think this is a pretty decent one to have. If we go to max level, you can see here is 1270, and compared to even a Lightcone like Quid Pro Quo, which is like 952, that's like a very massive 300 bonus as well. So massive amount of stat stick. You gain even more HP here, 30%, so you'll be having a huge chunk of tankability just with this Lightcone alone. Sorry, this is supposed to be superimposition 1, so 18% is still pretty good. Outgoing healing bonus, 12% that she can use too, very, very useful. Might result in a bit of overhealing, since if your characters are all at full life and she already heals so much across the entire team, you might not be able to get a lot of this value over here if you don't take enough damage. So we need the harder content that hits in the AoE, then we will get a lot of this second part. This wall of text, basically what it is the amount that you heal, you will dish back in damage equal to 36% of whatever you healed whenever an ally launches an attack. This turns a very defensive stat of HP outgoing healing into a bit more offensiveness. You can use, this is like, she gets to cast 36% basically of the amount of outgoing healing that she did. I think it's very, very strong, in my opinion at least. It turns your healing, a defensive healer, into a slightly more offensive one. Out of all of them, I probably like Time Waits for No One the most, because she's relatively defensive, a healer, and having a bit more damage on the side to make use of her amazing healing and sustain. If you think about it, the content you'll be playing her in is slightly more focused on healing, because maybe the enemies are doing a lot of damage. That way, this definitely turns her more into a DPS, or contribute more to damage, to be precise. Other than that, we've already talked about the rest. And if you like such content on this channel, I definitely do this every single patch. Like and subscribe for more such future videos, and thank you so much for watching. We'll be doing a build guide on her once she releases and the new sets are released. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.